Unit 3, Madame Butterfly, an opera in 3 acts by Giacomo Puccini.
Production team. Director, Jane Ferguson. Conductor, William H. Freeman. Costume designer, Art Williams. Cast, Cho-Cho-san, Maggie Sue. B.F. Pinkerton, Alan Prince. Consul Sharpless, Andy Jones. Suzuki, Amy Yamada. Goro, Jason Leeds. Kate Pinkerton, Annabelle Green. Prince Yamadori, James Kim. The Bonza, Cho-Cho's uncle, Darrell Wong. Synopsis. Act 1, 50 minutes. In the early 20th century, an American soldier named B.F. Pinkerton rents a house in Nagasaki, Japan. Goro, the agent who rents Pinkerton the house, has also found a Japanese wife for him. Her name is Cho-Cho, Butterfly, and Pinkerton plans to marry her and live in the house with her. While inspecting the house, Pinkerton tells his friend, Consul Sharpless, that he bought Cho-Cho for 100 yen and will eventually leave her to find a real American wife. Cho-Cho, however, is excited about marrying an American and changes her religion so that she and her new husband can pray to the same God. Shortly after the wedding and during the party, Cho-Cho's uncle, who was a bonza, bursts in and scolds her for changing her religion. Cho-Cho's uncle and the rest of her family soon leave the house and shame Cho-Cho for her actions. Later that evening, Pinkerton and Cho-Cho sing a love song together in the garden. Act 2, 45 minutes. 3 years later, Cho-Cho lives alone in the house. Pinkerton is no longer in Japan, but she still waits for his return. Cho-Cho's maid, Suzuki, tells her to forget about Pinkerton, but Cho-Cho will not listen. Goro asks Cho-Cho to marry a prince named Yamadori. Cho-Cho, however, remains firm in her belief that Pinkerton will soon come back to her. Then, Consul Sharpless arrives, bringing a letter from Pinkerton. In the letter, Pinkerton says that he will not return to Japan. Sharpless begins to read the letter to Cho-Cho, but does not have the heart to tell her the bad news. He suggests to Cho-Cho that Pinkerton might not come back. Cho-Cho, however, reveals to Sharpless that she gave birth to Pinkerton's son after he left Japan. Sharpless leaves, and a cannon goes off in the distance, announcing the arrival of Pinkerton's ship. Happy that her husband has finally returned to Japan, she decorates the house with flowers, puts on her finest kimono, and stays up all night waiting for him to come home. Act 3, 35 minutes. The next morning, Pinkerton and his new wife, Kate, arrive at the house while Cho-Cho is putting her son to bed. Having already learned about the baby thanks to Sharpless, Pinkerton and Kate decide to raise the child themselves. However, when Pinkerton sees the house again, he is taken over by guilt and runs off. Minutes later, Cho-Cho comes out, expecting to find Pinkerton outside the house. Instead, she is met by Consul Sharpless and Kate. Cho-Cho understands immediately that Kate is Pinkerton's new wife. She tells Kate that Pinkerton can have his son only if he comes personally to get him. After everyone has left, Cho-Cho runs inside and kills herself with a dagger that once belonged to her father. As she dies, the voice of Pinkerton, calling her name, is heard.